Hi guys, I just wanted to start off by showing a magnet that I got when I went to the Miami Zoo. I fed the giraffes over spring break. Um, I went to the exhibit and I bought a bowl of kale to feed to them, and I just thought it was so cool. Um, they were so calm and they loved eating the food, and just made me wonder what goes into actually taking care of giraffes in captivity, which led me to informing everybody about uh, what it actually consists of. Giraffes' care given to by workers in a zoo is important to keeping them healthy, but also knowing their difference between in their behavior um, in between the wild and when they're in captivity. There are three um, things that giraffes receive from workers while in captivity, and first is their diet. And in a zoo, usually giraffes have fruits like bananas and apples, which I've read that those two are their favorite. And also, they have pellets for them, which has nutrients usually that they already need for that day. Also, it has sometimes it has bark in it, um, but they also give them bark that's not in the pellets, and also alfalfa hay. And just like we are required to have yearly physicals, so are giraffes. And this is sometimes tricky for veterinarians because of their size, and um, they can't have their heads down when they lay down. They can't be um, sedated, and so that requires a lot of assistance usually, because they can't be forceful either, because it may scare the animals. Um, but when they do have their physicals, it's usually like blood work, urine analysis. They check their eyes, check their weight. Um, they um, do things like that. It's usually around twice a year. They also do vaccinations. Um, and their environment is also another thing that workers keep in mind. They try to make it as comfortable as possible. It's usually like sand or grass for the ground, and they lay around hay for them to eat. Um, They also have a watering hole to drink out of and branches nearby, because they need to keep their tongues active, because in the wild they um, grab their food from high places and they use their tongues to do that. So they also, in captivity, try to um, kind of imitate that as well. They also have toys, which also imitates that, so they can pick it up with their mouths and just have something to keep them occupied. Um, Giraffes are well kept, I think, in zoos, and they do keep their health in mind. What also comes into mind, they keep in mind, is the differences between the wild and captivity. And they do have to make a lot of adjustments. In the wild, giraffes um, are mindful of predators, but um, that's because they stand on their feet most of the time. It takes them too long to stand back up, so if a predator came along, it would take them too long to stand up, and usually they don't make it. Um, and in comparison, giraffes in captivity are seen sitting down more often, which is because they don't have to worry about predators in their space. Um, and that also takes into consideration the time that they uh, are alive, because in captivity they usually live about 15 years longer than in the wild. Um, and workers are able to keep their water clean as well, which in the wild they don't. So they run the risk of getting infected with parasites, which also causes them to die faster. Um, these examples, I think that show that giraffes have to adapt in a way, and when they're put in captivity, and even if they're born from in captivity, you can still see the differences between when giraffes are in the wild and the way they behave in a zoo. Giraffes' care, again, by workers is important to keep them healthy. That's their job, but also comparing their different behaviors to help them, to guide them into knowing what it is they need to do to keep their giraffes healthy. It's important to understand their behaviors so workers are able to understand their giraffes' needs as well. So I hope I informed you about giraffes. Giraffes become your new favorite animal just like they are mine.